Hey guys, what's going on? This is Ravi here, and in this video, we're going to see how you can deploy your Next.js applications or any application, I could say, on your own VPS using Coolify. So this is a trend where a lot of people are going on their own VPS and deploying it, especially now that VPS are very cheap. The very basics ones are very cheap, and this is because serverless costs are racking up. A lot of serverless platforms, I won't take names, they charge a lot if you get unexpected traffic. And I won't say VPS does well, but I think it helps you mitigate the cost a lot. And there's a balance between like the performance of your website and affordability. And I think that somewhere along the line, VPS is a little bit cheaper. So I don't want my audience to be confused on where to do, how to deploy it to a VPS. So I'm making this video, and one more reason of me making this video is that I might reference this video in some other video where I would be deploying some stuff in a VPS. So for example, like WebSockets, they cannot be deployed on serverless just like that, and we probably need a VPS to do that, and it's the best way. So I'm making this video just in case. So yeah, let's get started. So in this video, we are going to use Hetzner. I hope that I am like really pronouncing the name correct, but this is one of the most cheapest VPS hosting I have ever seen. Like they're incredibly cheap. And if you're an Indian student or any other third world country, I think you might afford this. Like it's like 300 rupees per month. And I think it has a lot of good specs, and you can deploy Coolify on it, and you can do a lot of different stuff. So yeah, we are going to do this, but the catch here is that the acceptance level is very low. If you sign up with your personal email ID, most of the time you're going to get banned just after registration, and they're going to say that you are not fit for this platform. You need to use your work email in that case. For me, my work email didn't work. My personal email worked, and they asked me to do my KYC using any Indian stuff. So yeah. Now my KYC and all is done. I'm just gonna go and log in now, which already should be logged in. I deleted all my projects to start from scratch just just to show you. And I'm gonna create a new project. I'm gonna call it YT, and I'm just gonna add project. Perfect. And now it says I'm the owner, and it's just one member. Now here we can go ahead and click on create resource, and there are a lot of different things you can check around, and it's pretty interesting. But for this video, we need servers. Perfect. And now there are a lot of different regions. Go ahead and choose whatever you want to. Just note that Singapore is expensive, and it's better to just go with EU Central, to be honest. I'm just gonna remain with the default Helsinki. I'm gonna have Ubuntu because Coolify needs Ubuntu to get installed. So yeah, and shared, we are gonna use shared vCPU because it's cheaper and it gets the job done. I'm gonna use the lowest configuration, which is still very decent because it gives you 2 vCPUs, 4 GB RAM, 40 GB SSD, and traffic of 20 TB, which is I think fair enough. It's too much, I think so. And yeah, let's go ahead and see anything else. Now there is a section of SSH keys. Now SSH keys are used to log into your server, and if you do not want to make an SSH key and don't want to fall into all of that stuff, you can simply leave this empty and they will email you the password of your root account. But what I would say that you can do it. The first time I did it, I just did the root account way, like they sent me the email with the password. But I'm just gonna go ahead and show you how to do the SSH key thing also. So before you even create and buy the server, which by the way is hidden behind me, so I'll show that to you later. But let's go ahead and create an SSH key right now. So go ahead, open your terminal. If you're using a Mac or if you're using a Linux machine, the command should be same. If you're using Windows, I'm not really sure. You might want to go ahead and Google that out. I'm really sorry because I did not have a Windows machine right here with me. So yeah, what you want to do is type in SSH keygen, and now we're gonna type -b 4096, and we're gonna say -t RSA, and just hit enter. And now it's going to say generating public private RSA key pair. In which file do you want to save the key? It's going to have a default path. I'm just going to leave it to default, and I'm not going to enter in passphrase. I'm just going to leave it, and it says that it has generated it for me. Now we also need the public key because we need to provide it to Hetzner. So I'm just going to do cat, and we're going to say //ssh. We are going to go to the location, and we're going to say ID RSA, and this is the private key. We need the public key, so we just go to idrsa.pub and we just hit enter. Now we get the public key. Make sure I hope that I don't need to mention this to you at this point right now, but do not share your private key to anyone. Please don't do that. Alright, so let's go here. Now add an SSH key. Let's paste this. It automatically gets the name. You can set it to default if you want to, but this is just a YouTube tutorial for me and I'm not going to do this. Let's add the SSH key. Perfect. And now we can simply go ahead and check everything else. You can change the name. I can just say test YT and I can just hit buy now. Okay, now I will show you how it looks. Look at this. This is a button which says create and buy now. It says that it's going to be 3.79 euros per month, which is pretty decent, I think so. Let's bring me back and let's create and buy now. Perfect. Now it's creating the server. It's running the progress. It's done. I recommend like waiting for a minute or something for this to finish, because a lot of time these are not. It says it's online now, so I can just copy this IP and we can go to our terminal and we can do clear and we can do SSH root at this IP address, and we are just going to say yes, and now we will be inside our VPS. So clear. By the way, if you don't want to use Hetzner, feel free to use any other hosting provider. The SSH key part will most likely be the same, or they will provide you their own SSH keys. The logging in part would be the same, and from here on everything would be same. Like you do not, this is like independent of the provider you use, because now we are just going to play with the VPS itself. Perfect. Now just make sure that it's an Ubuntu or any other proper Linux OS. So yeah, let's go to Coolify docs, and here we're gonna go ahead and see how we can get started. Let's go to quick start, installation self-hosted, TLDR for installation. It says all of these things. Make sure that you are using all of these things, by the way. And yeah, we are just going to use the TLDR installation. I'm very happy that they gave us this option. Let's go ahead and paste this and hit enter. Now this is going to take a bit of time because it's going to install Docker, it's going to do all of that stuff. It's going to install a lot of stuff and it's going to take time, however fast your VPS is. So I'm just going to pause this video and I'm going to be back when it's done. Alright, the information is complete. It says congratulations, which is pretty incredible. I think it's my console. So I'm just going to copy this URL. It says please visit to get started. I'll just copy this URL, make sure URL and don't use my Coolify instance. Anyways. Let's go here, and now it's going to make me do the setup. Now this user will be the root user. I'm gonna say I am Atharva Deosthale and my email is hey@atharva.codes, and I'm gonna set my password. I'm gonna set it to, I'm not gonna tell you what I set it to, of course, and I'm gonna click on register. No, I don't want to save my password. It says let me help you get set up with the basics. Now let's get started. It tells you what Coolify is. You can just read this. We're just going to click on next. This is important. This was confusing to me at first. Both of these options make sense, but for what we are achieving, we just want to if you have like a complete big thing to deploy, you can go with the remote server. But if you're just starting out, if you just want to play with stuff, just do localhost. Basically, it means that localhost means the instance where Coolify is running, which is our VPS. So it will deploy all of our things to localhost, and from it will be served. So don't think that localhost means that your applications won't be deployed and served. It's not true. So yeah, let's click on localhost, and now it says create a new project, resources. Let's do it. Now, yeah, I don't know why the styling is broken here, but I guess it's fine. Oh yeah, because it's the scroll bar. I used to use it on my monitor. Anyways, now there's a lot of different things you can do here. I'm just gonna go with basics. Like you can go ahead and see Coolify, what the things you can do. There's a lot of different things, and like all you can do with Coolify. It's like Vercel on steroids and self-hosted. So yeah, you can just go into like things you like how you want to deploy. But one thing I want to show you is like I made this repository, which is basically a blank Next.js application. Like literally the you can see like the initial commit from create next app. It's like literally everything is the same. The only difference is that I created a Docker file, because your Next.js application is going to be run inside of a Docker container, and Coolify is going to manage everything about it. So yeah, the Docker file is from Node 20 Alpine. We are going to create a new folder called as work directory app. We are just going to copy everything from a code base to that Docker container. We are just going to install pnpm, because pnpm is fast, and I tried npm, it took like, I don't know, like forever 5 minutes, and the installation still wasn't complete. So yeah, you can just go ahead and use npm if you're like a hardcore developer who cares about that stuff. But yeah, just go ahead, do pnpm install, pnpm run build, basically building your Next.js application inside the container, exposing the port 3000, because that's where it runs. Don't worry, this port won't be exposed to the person who is visiting your website actually. So yeah, and the final command, which is npm start. So you might have noticed npm dev, which is like a development server. Npm start basically serves the build after it's built. So this is the production version of your application. So just run this command, and docker will expose port 3000, and we can do whatever we want with it. And with that, what I mean is that Coolify will do all the magic for you. So you don't need to worry about all of the things about like self-hosting and stuff. Like Coolify is using your VPS and doing all of the things for you. You just need to tell them how to run this application. So yeah, now I'm just gonna go ahead and copy this VPS GitHub link, and I'm just gonna go to public repository. I'm just gonna paste the link and check repository. It says Nix packs, but we are gonna use Docker file because that's what we used. And let's click continue. This is very important though, by the way. Alright, so it says a lot of different things. What we can do is we can set a domain and stuff, but what I want to do first is I just want to deploy this, and I want to show you. Now it says no logs yet. Now it's starting to deploy. I will say show debug logs too, so that we can see what's actually happening here. Now it's actually executing the Docker thing. Yeah, now it's installing pnpm, as you can see on the screen. Now it's installing the packages for the Next.js project. Sorry for the ringtone. I'm sorry. Anyways, this should be done pretty quickly. Perfect. Now it's running the build command. We are using Next.js 14.2.14, and yeah, you can also set your environment variables in Coolify, by the way. It's almost like Vercel. So yeah, creating and production build, exactly how you would run npm run build. Let's wait for this to complete. I don't want to skip anything here because I just want to show you how this thing is actually working under the hood and how our application is getting built and served. So let's wait. Should not take a lot of time. Yeah, it compiled successfully, and now it's going to do all of the rest of the stuff, and then it's basically just going to start the server. Collecting build traces. Today I think it's a little slow. Last time I tried it, it wasn't really this slow. It was pretty quick, but I guess it's fine. For €3, I think this is pretty good. Okay, now this is done. It still says in progress. I don't know why, but if you go to logs, yeah, it says finished now. It says started. You can also stream logs, which will give you all the real-time logs, but it says we did pnpm start, so it says next start, and it starts actually running our server on localhost 3000, but it's not actually localhost 3000. So how do we get to application? So just do this links, and it generated a link for us. So now we can just go ahead, and yeah, our Next.js application is deployed, and yeah, perfect. Now what we want to do is we want to close this. Now I want to show you how we can configure a domain and stuff with it. Alright, so first of all, what we want to do is like change the domain to actual what we want it to be. So we're going to say HTTPS, and we're going to say whatever subdomain. So like you can also provide domain. I'm just going to provide a subdomain. So I'm just going to say test Coolify YT, or I think YT test Coolify because of autocomplete reasons, because I did it before as well. .atharva.codes. Please use your own domain name. If you use my own domain name, it won't work. The save button is a little low key. It's difficult to find, but the save button is here. Just click on save. Perfect. And now it says latest configuration has not been applied. You need to redeploy. So let's go ahead and you know what, just restarting can do. We can just restart it and it will do its thing. But what I want to do is actually want to go ahead and set the DNS records, because right now it won't just work. All right, it's running. Let's go to okay, so my domain is managed by Cloudflare, so my DNS records are actually with Cloudflare sense. So like if you're using GoDaddy or anything else, you might want to go ahead and change your DNS records through them. So here I'm just going to do add record, and I'm going to use an A record, and the name is going to be, what was that, YT Coolify test, right? Yeah, no, YT test Coolify, YT test Coolify. And remember, CNAME record is if you want to put in a domain here. A record is if you want to put an IPv4 address, and I'm just going to put this address because it's the same one for a VPS. You need to provide your IP address of your VPS here. I'll recommend to setting this to proxied, because it will automatically cache everything and make your website a little more secure from DDoS attacks, because right now you basically don't have any protection against DDoS, right? So yeah, just do this and we're gonna click save. Perfect, the DNS record is added. Real quick, I was editing this video right now and I realized that I missed one part, which is actually setting the SSL TLS setting. If you do not change this, your application will not work and it will infinitely redirect and you will see an error. So just go to SSL TLS. In overview, you have to change the SSL TLS configuration and set it to full. By default, your Cloudflare account, if you haven't changed this ever, it will be in flexible. Make sure it is full, or else your Next.js app will keep redirected and it will end up in an error. So make sure you have it on full, and that's how your website will start working. And make sure you hit save. Okay, back to the video. Now we can just go ahead and yeah, now we can simply go YT test coolify .tharva.code. Sometimes it will work, sometimes it won't. It will be that case initially because it takes time for the DNS to propagate, but yeah, it's working. Now we are seeing our Next.js application. One thing about Cloudflare is, like, if you use Cloudflare, you can actually cache everything, all the as static assets, unless you change them and redeploy your application. So if we go to network tab and if we refresh, you'll see that everything was from memory. So like if I try to expand this, oops, yeah, memory cache. So this was from the memory. So it's basically cached everything, Cloudflare, and we got it. Let me make it good again. Perfect. So yeah, our Next.js application is now deployed on a VPS and is handled by a Coolify instance. I just want to skim through a little bit more and show you the things you can do. First of all, you can also add more domains here. You can configure a www or non-www thing here. The base directory, I don't think you need to touch this if you're using Docker files. So yeah, deployments, you can see all of your deployments. One cool thing about here is you can access your terminal of your Docker container right through here. You can do anything you want. And even better is that you can go to terminal in the sidebar and you can choose your local host, which is actually your VPS. So you can actually run the VPS terminal of your VPS right through Coolify, and that's, I think it's cool. Some might call it a security disaster, but I think it's cool. So yeah, so if you go to dashboard, my first project, you can add multiple server Docker containers here, by the way. Now there's a lot of different things here. Advanced, you can do auto deploy stuff. In webhooks, what you can do if you want to like automatically deploy whenever you actually create a commit on GitHub, you can actually set this configuration on GitHub. I'm not going to show you how to do that in this video. I'm just trying to show you the things you can do. This video is not sponsored by Coolify, by the way. So yeah, there's a lot of different things you can do, even rollbacks, health checks and stuff. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you learned something new and I was able to provide you value. If that's the case, please make sure that you go ahead and like the video, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to this channel, because it really helps me with this channel, keep me motivated to produce new banger content. So yeah, I'm going to quote the favorite thing about my favorite WWE wrestler, who is Sheamus. If you subscribe to my channel, I'll do a banger over banger over banger. Okay, that was cringe. Anyways, that's it for this video, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.